Tony Robbins changed my life. It's not because he granted me 3 wishes from a genie lamp. I wish he was a genie, and he's not. And it's not because of his giant hands that make him seem like he's got the power of Godzilla. And it's definitely not because he's the spokesman for a hair loss serum company that's helping me cover up this bald spot that you cannot see. It's because he taught me 6 life-changing lessons that were way more impactful. If you stick till the end, I'll give you 6 takeaways that will change your life forever. And before we jump into the lesson for today, I want you to click the link below to join the Subtle Leadership newsletter and get started with the motivation that you need in your life. Let's get into it. Who is Tony Robbins? Well, as you'll see in this picture, there's 3 people. One on the left is Mark Benioff. The one in the middle is our friend from Virgin Atlantic, Richard Branson. And then on the right is Tony Robbins. He's known from back in the 80s as being someone that's done audio tapes and things that have helped him over time build a brand through infomercials and audio tapes. Then you've also got him as a life coach and philanthropist. He's written a few books, and his coaching style is self-empowerment and overcoming mental barriers and personal and professional success, which is why I've learned so much from him and that I've implemented into my life. He's just dynamic and has motivational speaking skills and has personal development programs that you can sign up for that are fantastic. My first in-person experience with him was in 2008 during a Salesforce.com sales kickoff. And I'm in Vegas. There's hundreds of people around me. This is the beginning of my career. I'm 1 year in on the sales team, trying to figure out what am I doing at this job. And on stage, you have Tony Robbins, the huge hands, clapping, trying to get everybody all energized. If everybody's there for a reason. By the end of this exercise and this event, I was high-fiving people, climbing chairs, jumping, so much energy. It was wild. All of a sudden, you don't even know what kind of person you've just completely changed into a different person by being in this Tony Robbins event. But if you rewind time and go back to 2000, so 8 years previous, when I graduated high school and was taking on my first job, my first actual job, I was picking up phones and setting appointments for home security systems installs. And my sales manager at the time, Dean, he was awesome. One of the things that I learned from him was the Tony Robbins piece. That's where I heard it first, was in high school. Graduating high school, coming in this job, and thinking about things positively. And everything that you do and keeping a positive mindset is the thing that will overcome adversity. And for me, I will never forget that. So thank you, Dean, if you ever see this. And here are the life-changing lessons that I want to go through that I've learned from Tony over the years. Positive affirmations, being resourcefulness and being resourceful, the power of abundance mindset, limiting beliefs, what those are, the daily rituals and habits that I've built based on what Tony's taught, and then gratitude. But let's start with positive affirmations. And what are these anyway? What does that even mean? What does positive affirmation mean? Well, it's a statement or saying that reinforces positive thoughts in your mind. This is not about negativity. These are short, powerful bursts and statements that are going to allow you to overcome the self-sabotage and negative thoughts that are in your mind every single day. And why that matters is it helps you create positive mental energy and a change, physical change. It actually changes the way that your brain works. When you start thinking about things positively and you say things to yourself that are positive about your life, and it reprograms your mind and it makes you believe in this change. And this just helps reduce stress in my life, anxiety. It just makes my life a heck of a lot easier. So that's why focusing on the glass half full and not empty, all of those reasons why it's so important for you. This is what I say to myself. I am good. I am great. I am wonderful. I am good. I am great. I am wonderful. I am good. I am great. I am wonderful. And that's the thing I remember from Tony Robbins on stage is that you feel energy. And when you change your mindset and say those things, like that's mine. That statement is my statement. I am good. I am great. I am wonderful. I am good. I am great. I am wonderful. You say that, you mean it. You can choose the words you want. I just feel that strength when I say I am good, I am great, I am wonderful. And one thing I've done is incorporated this into what I do with the children every night. We have positive reinforcement in saying these things, and they're chants that make you feel better. They're positive affirmations that change your mind and your mindset. And you do that, and you do it long enough, then your mind is going to believe it because it is true once you start saying those things. Moving to resourcefulness. Here's a quote that Tony said on stage. It's not the lack of resources, it's your lack of resourcefulness that stops you. Now imagine Al Gore's in the audience, which this really happened, and in a Tony Robbins event, Al Gore, and he asked everybody to raise their hand and tell him what resources were stopping them from getting the thing they wanted. And Al Gore raises his hand and says, some Supreme Court justices. And everybody laughs in the room, but it's not really funny. And for those that don't know, back in 2000, Al Gore lost the presidential election to George Bush Jr., not Sr. And he, in that time, what he ended up saying was that it's not just about the resources, it's about being resourceful. So if you have the resources of more Supreme Court justices, fine. The point was, you need to back up and think about yourself as an individual that should be resourceful to be more charismatic, to engage with the audience, to figure out, to go to more events, show up and be more resourceful. Don't just focus on pointing outward. It's looking inward and injecting into yourself. I need to be more resourceful in order for this thing to come to fruition, not relying on other people or things to happen. So when you look at resources versus resourcefulness, resources are time, money, knowledge, connections, tech, manpower, social capital, right? Those are things that are resources that you can't make more of, but you can control yourself in being resourceful, which is how creative can I be? What event should I go to? You know, if I'm Al Gore, thinking about those states that I should have gone to more, or things that I should have invested in more, my time, or learning a new skill. Like maybe I should have done more podcasts at that time, learning a new skill, being adaptable in the situation, problem solving, leveraging your knowledge, learning from your failures, and just continuously getting better and better at everything that you're doing. That's resourcefulness. All right, let's get into the power of abundance mindset. This, to me, it's whatever you focus on, you're going to feel. So focus equals feeling. What does this really mean? Well, think of it this way. We're asking yourself this question. Is this the beginning or the end? If you think something is at the end, how are you going to act versus the beginning? This is the first YouTube video that I've put together, and it's the beginning for me of a YouTube channel. Now, what if I was at the end, or I was like at the end of a job, end of a relationship? How does your mind work when you're feeling like you're at the end of something? It's just feeling this is not the direction I want to go. But when you're thinking about it's the beginning of something, a beginning of a trip, planning a trip, a new job, a new relationship, a new thing, how do you act differently? Think about that question. And for me, this is exciting. This is a new channel. This is the thing I've been wanting to do for a long time. This is the first video. It's freaking exciting. And I'm pumped about it. And it's going to have a massive influence in so many ways for the business that I'm building with partners. Are you going to act the same or different depending on whether it's the beginning or the end? That's for you to decide. I don't know. And that's what Tony Robbins on the left, and then the book I just finished reading, Scarcity Brain, talks about scarcity loops and how it's all tied in together, where you have this, you want to replace your negative energy and habits and everything with something to think about positively. Now, let's move on to limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are those self-imposed restrictions where you just create the negative things around your life. I can't. There's statements like, I can't, I won't, I don't know how, I'm not good enough. Those are just rooted in your past experiences with family or experiences that you've had with others that just, you need to write them down and figure out what they are. But think about like, I can't do this YouTube channel or this YouTube video. I can't write or post anything online. I can't go start that business. I can't go ask that girl. I can't go ask that guy. Whatever the thing is that's going on in your life that you're saying I can't to, those are limiting beliefs. You can, you're just choosing not to. And there's a big, big difference. And it creates mental barriers and those psychological barriers that you have to overcome by changing the frame of what you're talking about. It's not that I can't, it's just that you haven't prioritized that thing, the willpower to try. That's where the power comes in with these limiting beliefs, and understanding what they are and how you overcome them. That's where the power is. And then that creates this obstacle of success in your way. And you just need to focus on, how do I get past these obstacles and focus on success? And why that matters, all these things, it affects your mental health. It shapes your reality. It impacts your decision making. Knowing what your limiting beliefs are and removing that from your life, that's what you need to do. So really focus on that when you're thinking about this. The daily rituals and habits is a really powerful thing for me, where you identify the things that you can build habits around. Think about, what are you doing in the morning? How are you getting physical exercise? What is the nutrition and hydration that you're doing? Are you focused on positive affirmations? What does your time management look like? How are you goal setting? Journaling, quality sleep. There's a lot here. I'm not saying you need to do all of this. The last one's my favorite. I've been starting to do cold plunge and sauna rotations, and it's awesome. And after I finish recording, I'm going to go to the sauna. But my point is that this is really important for you to think about. It's going to give you mental clarity by writing things down on what your daily habits are when you do them throughout the day. If it's just the morning, the afternoon, evening, if it's meditation, that you do breaks throughout the day. It makes your physical health better because you're going to incorporate things in your life that you need to, that you hadn't really thought through or that you needed to do. And then it boosts your productivity, right? Like if you have your days organized and you understand your rituals, your habits of what you're doing every day through the week, by the end of it, you figured out how I'm going to back into the goals that you've set for the year of what you want to accomplish in your life by removing those limiting beliefs and being resourceful. Build stronger relationships, build some stability and structure, and your confidence and self-esteem is going to go up. Last one is gratitude gratitude. Gratitude is probably the most important. It's a powerful emotional statement where you recognize and appreciate what you have versus what you don't have. Think about what you're grateful for and say it out loud, because the relationships, the friends, the things that you have, be grateful for those. Don't focus on the things you don't. I don't have 100,000 followers on blah, blah, blah. I don't have this job. I don't have that job. I don't have whatever those things are. Who cares? There's a book that I'm reading called Second Mountain. First mountain you climb up is your first career. And then you start to go down this decline and try and figure out what you want to do with the rest of your life. And it creates this negative energy after you've climbed the first hill. And that's basically what I did for 15 years at B2B SaaS tech companies, and then realized I don't want to do this anymore. I didn't do a lot of the stuff that I'm telling you right now. This has been my journey over the last few years since 2021, where I'm trying to incorporate all this stuff into my life and be grateful for the things that I have. And this is the most challenging thing for me to do. And I really do appreciate that everybody's listening to me, but this is, for me, a tool for making positive change in thinking. It helps me with my daily practice that I build into the rituals that I have. And it just changes your life perspective to think about the things you do have versus those you don't. And it just removes the fear and anger from your body by thinking about, I'm thankful for that today. And that's what gratitude does for me. And it focuses and gets you to the abundance mindset, which is really important. Of how do I actually get to the abundance mindset? Really just sit and think about, what am I grateful for? Write it down. Start journaling. That's not on here. Journaling's for another time, but write down the things that you are grateful for. How we're going to conclude this is giving you 6 action items that will change your life if you do this. So 1, write down 3 positive affirmations that you want to try and tell yourself, whether it's just one statement, like I said, I'm good, I'm great, I'm wonderful, if that's yours, but write something down that you can say to yourself tomorrow morning. Focus on what you're going to do to be resourceful, not having resources, but how are you going to be resourceful? Pick one thing that you're at the end of, and imagine that you're at the beginning of that again. What would you do differently? And should you change anything that you're doing today? Now, I want you to write down and recognize what you believe are the limiting beliefs that you have in your life, and build a plan to combat that, which we can come back to later. Find your daily rituals and your habits. What is that for your life? And if you haven't done this, break down your week. Start with a day, but break down your week into how you're going to do all the things that you want to do that week, and then back into a month so you can try and understand how you're going to be able to accomplish what you want to in a month. And then be grateful for what you have. Really just sit and think about, what am I grateful for? Write it down. Start journaling. That's not on here. Journaling's for another time, but write down the things that you are grateful for. All right, now click the link below to get to Subtle Leadership newsletter, where I send out weekly messages all around these topics, and see you in the next video.